Welcome to another edition of The Walking Dead.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of EPL on Pub.
Class is in session, hitting the books on Pub Sports.
This is another exciting edition of the main event on Talking Ant. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are back. We're cooking with peanut oil. PGA Pub Hub, it's here. It's back in action. 2023, season 3, actually. Believe it or not, here at Pub Sports Radio, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe below. Myself and Connor. Connor, how you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm good, my man. I'm just glad to be back at golf. It's really back. I mean, of course, they always play, but I'm so wrapped up in college football and everything. I'm always watching it, but golf, it's back. You know, this is week 1, Tournament of Champions, Sentry, and we've been successful. I have in this tournament, the last 5 or 10 years. So I'm ready to rock. It's not traditional, but there's still value, I think, to be found in a couple top 10s, 5s, and, of course, the winners. So let's get it. Defending champ, too. You know, obviously not here. We'll get to that shit later on with the PGA Tour and the Live. We were talking about it. So but let's get right to it, my man. Kick it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no. So without further ado, guys, let's rock and roll into this 2023 PGA season. There's some new looks, a lot of new changes because of the Live Tour and what's happened there. There's new purse increases. There's commitment from the top players. They only have one exemption they can use in this whole calendar year, Connor. And one guy that's used this, along with no Cam Smith, there's going to be no Rory McIlroy. He's used this one exemption. It's in accordance with the Tour Player Impact Program here, so he's not going to play here, but the other ones that he's going to have to be committed for now, there's 4 majors, the Players, 3 playoff events, 3 hosted events, which is the Genesis, Arnold Palmer Memorial, this Century, and the WGC Dell Technologies all have commitments from these top players, which top 20 players who finished in the Player Impact Program are required now to play, again, with one exemption. So there's also a new playoff format this year, guys. Instead of it being, Connor, the 125 at the St. Jude, it's only going to be 70. So they're cutting 55 players. So it's going to be a lot more intense. It's going to be a lot more suspense, urgency in the last couple of weeks leading into the Wyndham Championships, which will be the first week of August. That's going to be the end of the PGA Tour season. So we got along about 8.5, 9 months here of the season. So right away, though, guys, that's going to be a lot. It's going to be interesting. When it comes to that, not 125, but 70 there, Connor. Also, Q School, guys. Q School top 5 finishers will receive a PGA Tour card. That's the first time they're bringing this back in, I think, 10 years, they said. And the remainder will play for their Corn Ferry Tour card there. Top 10 World DP World Tour also are going to get their PGA Tour card, Connor. Top 10 finishers in the DP World Tour will receive their PGA Tour cards. Top 30 in the Corn Ferry Tour list will also have a chance to earn their PGA Tour cards, going from 25 to 30. And like we said there, guys, no Rory this week. He's going to be taking it off. And Cam Smith, because of his Live commitments, he's not going to be at this year's Sentry Tournament of Champions, where it's a no-cut event, Connor. As you said there, it's a top 39 are going to be at this event. It's the 13th longest and the second easiest, though, on the tour. So right away, it's a very unique golf course. A lot of elevation here, Connor. Par 73. So we're losing a par 3, guys. We're adding a par 4 here. 7,596 yards. A lot of distance here at this course. It's an ocean course, and wind is really the only defense. It's going to be the 25th year as well. Like I said, 17 of the top 20 are going to be here. Connor, is there any guys you're looking at, though, leading into this Sentry Tournament of Champions?
Yeah, there's let's highlight just a couple real quick before I bounce it back to you. Let's talk about, though, this course always. Really, the wind is it, like you mentioned. The extra 73, which is rare. Basically, the only tournaments, I mean, they have it every once in a while, but it hasn't been much. They're going to go low. You know, they just birdie fest here. Yeah. And the big hitters have won here, whether we've seen it's Thomas in the past, Dustin Johnson won't be in it. Those type guys have won here. Xander Schauffele, you can go through them. But all those guys, you know me, I'm the value guy here. John Rahm, Justin Thomas, I don't want those guys. They don't have enough for me. You know what? Scotty Scheffler at 10-1. Obviously, coming off such a phenomenal year. He was so good last year. Basically, player of the year. I think there's a little bit with him at 10-1. But I'd bounce right to the guys at around 30-1. You know, the big question mark here, I don't think I use him. I want to ask you about it, was Will Zalatoris. You know, the back. I don't like guys with back injuries. I want to see them play well, then maybe bet on them. Because with a back in golf, you know how it is. It's not great. He's 30-1. What do you think about his chances? 30
Yeah, I know. Right away, I like you said, I got to see a little more out of Willie Z. He had some disc, he had herniated discs there, guys. So that is actually what I have here. First start since the BMW Championship, and herniated disc for a guy with a frame like myself. That's not exactly got a lot of, he's more of a tall, lanky kind of golfer. So that's going to be tough. You're gonna want the thing of this course, though, Connor. The fairways are so wide. It's a good course to kind of just get going. I don't see Zalatoris winning this event because last year, actually, Cam Smith, guys, he broke the record minus 34. He was minus 34 in 4 rounds. That's just unheard of. And one shot behind was John Rahm, who I'll get to. I know you're talking that you can't bet on John Rahm, but I'll make a good damn case for him right now. Coming off a bit of a rough season last year with his putter. He was going from the putting book there. They took away the putting book last year, and it took him a while, I think, to get used to that. He also had another kid, but this guy seems like he's coming into form going forward. Here's some runners-up, though. Runner-up at this event, Matsuyama in 17, Rahm in 18, Woodland in 19, Xander, and Rahm again. So knocking on the door, old Big John Rahm. 9 of the top 10 of the FedEx points are also going to be teeing it up here, Connor, that being Seamus Power, Keegan Bradley, Hughes, Kim, Harmon, Svensson, Homa, Henley, Finau, and Thigala. We have a lot of the top rankings are all going to be here, too, other than, like I said, Rory McIlroy, guys. Debut, there's going to be a lot of debut taunts here at this event. Tom Kim, this guy was just lighting it up last year. If you guys were watching golf at the President's Cup, was just unbelievable what he did there, the excitement. Another guy who's surprisingly debutant here is Matthew Fitzpatrick, who won the U.S. Open, and Rookie of the Year Cameron Young is also debutant. Zalatoris, Thigala, Brem, List, Molinux, Ramey, Spawn, Straka, and Svensson. And some news over the season, too, here. I got a little notes here. Homa and Hughes are new dads, so that's something maybe I don't know if you guys put that into effect, but new fathers there. Homa and Hughes, and JT, Morikawa, Zalatoris, and M just put a ring on it there. So they're good. They are engaged or married now. So, and looking at this course, though, 3 stats I have going forward here, Connor. Large fairways. It's going to be a birdie fest and mass elevation at this course. So let's get into it here. There's the first hole is going to be 508 yards, guys. The 7th hole is 540, and the 17th is 549. These are par 4s. 549 par 4, Connor. But you're like I said, that elevation here, it's going to be heavy downhill. The ball is going to be traveling a lot farther than if you're in really anywhere in the States, unless you're in the Rockies or something. But this is going to be a real the ball is going to travel a lot farther. And if you have that distance off the tee, it's only going to help, in my opinion here, guys. You're going to have some shorter holes, though. 384, 389, 284, Connor. There's a 284 par 4. So that'll be fun to watch. That's hole number 14, guys. 362 on 16. It's a really different golf course. You're looking at the par 5s, Connor. 532, 543, 548. And then the last hole is going to be 675, a real bomber. It's pretty heavy downhill. Actually, Justin Thomas put it in the marsh there on 18. I think it was last year, a couple of years ago there, if you remember.
Yeah, good finishing hole.
It's a great finishing ocean course. This is, if I could play a course, this is probably my top 5 on the list, mate, probably in the PGA. This course just looks unbelievable, guys. But at this course, it's a complete birdie fest. So we're looking at par 4, birdie or better, par 5, birdie or better as well. But the par 4 is going to be really key. Let's get into some stats right now, Connor. And shout out to all our sponsors there, guys. My bookie, Bet Online, you name it, guys. Check them out. Be sure to use the promo codes Pub Sports Radio. And let's get back into it here. Some stats for you guys. Birdie or better, par 4s. Number 1, your boy JT, Justin Thomas is number 1. Cameron Young, Burns, Xander, Hovland, Spieth, Rahm, Finau, Henley, and Zalatoris are all guys that in this field. This is going back to last year, Connor. So this is at least 3 months off, but for the most part, I'm expecting that to transform or to carry forward here in that sense. Par 5, birdie or better, Cantley, Scheffler, JT, Finau, Young, Homa, Spieth, Xander, and Fitzpatrick. Now, before getting right into my picks here, I'm going to go give you guys one golfer I didn't take, and I want to know your opinion here, Connor. That's going to be Tony Finau. Tony Finau, he didn't make my cut, but he's par 4 birdie or better. He's there. Par 5 birdie or better. Birdie average. He's there. His putting is the one thing that's held him back here because he was a T19, I believe, and a T21 at this event. So he's going to be able to get there. It's just going to be how he putts on these greens too, guys, are massive greens. So you're going to have to be a decent leg putter in that sense. They're not necessarily quick, but they're big greens. So I don't know what to think about Tony Finau because he's from Utah too, right? So he grew up in this elevation, which he's going to be used to that carry, the distance on his club. So he's not going to have any problems. It's just putting. What do you think of Tony Finau?
My guy, Tony Finau. I love-hate relationship if you've bet this guy in golf. And, he's come through a little bit, at least winning a couple tournaments the last few years. The stats, though, you mentioned it. He's in top 5 all this, and he can bang it out there. It's just the flat stick. I'm not going to take him. And, he finished the year out strong, which he was up and down. He kind of started out the year slow. So I'm not going to use him. But here, shout out to our guy. Let's get this question. Billy Brisbane, I want to get this guy on. Our guy, Willie Beeman. Hopefully he'll come on the next few weeks and really help us out with some DFS. I'm not that big on it in golf, but I know it's huge. Oh, yeah. So, gambling. I know you do it a little bit too. Absolutely. I don't. My volume, is a lot less with these small fields because I'm more of a I want to get guys at big prices. So I'm going to touch on one. I'll throw it back to you. Okay. About the lowest guy, I don't know if I'm going to take anyone here. I mentioned Scheffler, the 10-1. My first guy that stands out to me, and I'm skipping Sam Burns, which I really like, is a guy you mentioned was in a bunch of those stats. Cam Young gun, 22-1. I mean, you got a guy bangs it. This course seems like it lays out perfect for him. If you get him over 20-1, I got a 22-1 here. I think he's a first look in this one. What do you think there, Cam Young? Go ahead.
Ring the alarm bells. This guy just hit the jackpot. Get the pit boss over. That's the guy I'm on as well there, Connor. It was a late addition, but Cam Young, I completely agree with you there, buddy. This guy just seems like if he's not going to win now, it's going to be very shortly. Like I remember at this same time last year, Connor, I said Scheffler and I said Fitzpatrick were the two guys to look out for. It's funny, I still remember that. And Scheffler went on a tear. Cam Young, looking at his stats here, guys, last year he had 7 second or third place, Connor. He was runner-up or got third 7 times. And then already to start this year, what did he do last week? Not last week, but at the Hero World Challenge, guys, December 4th, finished third. So in this course is a bomb at kind of style, right? So it's just going to be his approach, and as long as he's not. Sometimes his iron shots in might be his only hiccup I have here because I have greens in regulation from the fairway. He's 76.66%. The tour average is 76.7. So his distance is what's going to be is great. It's just if he can get his irons dialed, then I like this number for him. And it seems like he's been right there, especially coming off that third place at the Hero. Lots of distance off the tee will help. I have here 22-1 outright, 22-1 first round leader. I'm gonna have to trust it here. He was I was actually gonna put Tom Kim in there, but I thought I was trying to force the Tom Kim play because I wanted a debutante, and I think it's gonna be Cam Young is gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one also on my card, Connor. 22-1. I have a bunch of plays. 22-1 first round leader, 22-1 outright. Top 5 plus 333 and a top 10 on Cam Young as well, plus 130. So
real quick, smaller field here with me with Cam Young. I might do some first round leaders, which I don't do, but this is a smaller event. I'm not going to have as many bets. So that's one I might pull the trigger on too. The guys just can go low. And of course, where you mentioned the fairway's open, he can bang it. Even if he's a little off, I mean, with his irons, I still think the length, this guy, he can go low. So I want him. I think there's too much value at him. I think his number goes down a little bit here in the next few days too. I'd grab him.
You know what? He's going to hit a tee shot, guys, at this event, probably I'm going to say 390, 385. Like, because of the amount of elevation and slope, like he can hit the slope or something and get a 115-yard roll. Like he can get 90-yard roll on one of his tee shots. Like he can really, really bomb him. So he's going to have a big advantage. He reminds me of a Dustin Johnson kind of in this sense where he he just grips it and absolutely just rips the thing off the tee. So, and also looking at his birdie average, Connor, he's second on par 4 birdie or better in this event, only behind JT. And birdie average in 2022, he's 4th in this event. So
that's great. Yeah.
The fact he hasn't won, keep your eye on this guy's on Cameron Young, because he's going to be winning. I'm going to say in the next 2 months, he's going to at least get a win here. So he's on my card as well. Let's go to the favorite here for me, Connor. I'm going to pull out Jon Rahm. I know his number is 7-1, guys, and I do not usually do this, but he's coming off 2 victories right away here, guys. Coming off 2 victories. He had over at let me just bring it up here. It's a lot easier if I bring it up. In 2022, he had the Spanish Open he won, and then he won the DP World Tour Championship as well, back-to-back. And before that, he was 2nd place at the BMW. Starting 2023 at the South Carolina CJ Cup, he was 4th. At the Hero, he was 8th. Jon Rahm, his chipping is something I saw him practicing a lot, Connor. He's practicing a lot of his chipping around the greens, and he seems a lot more comfortable. Not like a Seve by any means, guys. Everyone knows how good Seve is, but he's a lot more. His hands seem a lot better. His, like I said, he had the kid last year, no greens book. He's coming around in that sense. And last year, what did he do here, guys? He was minus 33. He would have won this event if it wasn't for Cam Smith going absolutely crazy at minus 34. His first in putting, first in tee to green last year at Kapalua as well. He's at a 2nd at T7, a 10th, an 8th, and a 2nd at this event. His number's low. I got 7-1. I also have 12-1 first round leader on this guy, and I have top 5 plus 130 on Jon Rahm. Just too much going in his favor. I see why he's the favorite. And I'm just,
I get it.
Yeah, I wasn't high on this guy last year as much. Not so much that I wasn't high, but compared to his 2021, where he won the U.S. Open, was T2, T3, was doing really well, and a bit of the greens book. I always like to play that into account. But anyways, guys, without humming and hawing too much more about Jon Rahm, he's going to have a heck of a season, especially I think in the majors. This is a big event too, $50 million purse. So make it 3 in a row. Well, not 3 in a row, but 3 wins in his last 5 events. It's a strong field, but Jon Rahm loves this golf course. And his approach when it comes to these tight fairways, he has a really good, like 150 in. When he gets on, you want to talk about a birdie fest, Jon Rahm can go nuts.
Oh, yeah.
He did it this year. So I really think he can.
I don't blame you for it. I won't be on him, but hey, you're not, a little bit of a down year last year, but come on, top 3 player in the world, I think, top 5. So, there's merit to him being the top guy here this week.
Yeah, and I'm trying to will you get a better number on Jon Rahm? And I don't think he's coming slow out of the gate. I don't think I'm going to get a better number than 7-1 if I expect him to come out of the gate strong. So that's kind of why I'm taking him out, right? But I could see if you left him off the card, maybe you do get a 9-1 or something live. But this guy's poised, especially this top 5. I have guys plus 130. I'm also going to bet that. I bet the first round leaders in the outrights. I'll be betting the top 5 and the top 10s just after the show. But that's number 2 on the card, Connor. Who else you got on your card?
Yeah, you went to a guy. I think it was 15th. I was going through everything last night and this morning. I just had it pulled up too. Where was he at?
What's up, Danny?
He's shout out to our guy Danny Lopez. Where was he at? I forget where he had him. It's Max Homa. He finished tied 15th. Yeah, that's what I thought. You get over 30-1 with him. You mentioned him being a new dad. I just think the guy's poised. And you know what I like about Homa? He's been the best. I've won with him a couple times. He's clutch in the end. I like guys that can win, and that's one thing he can do. Does he win this week? I don't know. I just thought value here over 30-1 was worth a shot with him. Because to me, what I love my value from week to week on the PGA Tour is top 10s and 20s. And this week, it's just not there. I'm going to have a couple. We can touch on those kind of at the end, the guys that here are at the bottom, at the lowest odds, that I think could sneak up. But this week, so I'm just trying to catch the winner, and I think there's value with him over 30-1. So what do you think about our guy Max Homa?
Yeah, I'm just looking here at his approach stats, guys, from last year. He was getting 1.6, 1.2, 1.8. Slightly his approach was okay, but it wasn't too consistent. To start this year, he's got 0.8, 1.1, and then 1.13. I really think, yeah, I am high on Homa. I'm not sure if this course. I might take him at the Sony Open, more of the flatter course. One thing being the greens in regulation. This is just a small stat, but he was 58 out of 72 last year at the greens in regulation at this course. So, you know, it was just last year, but he seemed to be missing, even though they're large greens too. I don't know if it was the elevation that was throwing him off or whatnot. He is, though, like I said, he's playing much better golf than he was last year at this time. But with that being said, I'm not sure if his approach. I'm not sure if this is the kind of course for Homa. I think he may be a top 10 at this course, but I'm not sure if it suits just from the numbers I'm seeing, guys. Especially, I guess last year I have Horschel. He was 56 to 72, and Homa was 58 to 72. Those are two guys that I don't want to put too much into that, but yeah. I don't mind Homa.
I just think he's price wise. I'm going for some value here in that number. And you're right, though. You know, he's been better, you know, come February around that time when we go on more of the West Coast swing in California. That's where he's been his best. So, but I think he's a guy I got to throw a few ducats on this week.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you, too. He's going to be a guy I'm going to be betting a lot more this year than I did last year. That's for sure. All right, let's keep her moving. Next guy I have on my card here. I'll talk about this one here. He's not going to be on my outright, but this is going to be a first-round leader. This is Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay, I know some people don't like this guy golf style.
Well here. Yeah.
He's it's the only thing going against him here, I think, is it's his first start since October 9th. But what did he do October 9th? T2nd at the Shriners, which he does love loves the Shriners.
Likes, of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, loves it. He's third birdie average though in 2022, so he can go really low. 3 of 3 times he's been at this event, Connor. His shots gained putting. He's gained shots gained putting on the field at this course. Top 8 tee to green last 2 years at Plantation as well. Kapalua, that is where we're playing. 4th T13, 4th T15 at this event. I think he can go really, like, just looking at his numbers here. Holy gee, like Patrick Cantlay, guys, he was on an absolute heater, and it's all about the flat stick. Like, he was gaining so many strokes with his flat stick, and then he was cranking top 10s at left, right, and center with 2 victories last year. And then to start this year, he had one event at the Shriners, T2, but Connor, he gained 2.03 strokes putting, and he's gained strokes putting in the past at this event. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he. I hope he doesn't win because I don't have Patrick Cantlay on my card. He did grow up with some elevation too I guess there's not much elevation actually in Long Beach, but in the California area. But Patrick Cantlay, first round leader, I think he can get hot, especially with a guy who can putt like that. First round, he could shoot 7-8 under. He's like this course in the past. He's got distance, he's got accuracy. I'm gonna throw a first round leader, Patrick Cantlay. What do you think of that one, Connor?
Hey, I'm a Patrick Cantlay fan at times. You mentioned his game might not be the best to watch, but the guy can hit it far. He's got an ugly swing follow through at times.
Because of his back. He had that back surgery.
The key with him, you mentioned, is the flat stick. And he can get hot. When he's hot, we saw it at the end of the year 2 years ago when he just took everything. And the solo 4th last year was right in the mix. I remember. And I looked at him, at 10 to 1, because I wouldn't want Rahm at 7 to 1. So he was a glance for me, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won it this week.
That was kind of between my two golfers right there, Cantlay and Rahm, and I went with Rahm at 7 to 1. It's the form, I guess. John Rahm played a lot of golf since that October 9th from Patrick Cantlay. Now, obviously, Cantlay's been practicing and been playing golf, but Rahm's coming off 2 victories, like I said, in the DP World Tour, the Spanish Open, a T8 at the Hero, which Cantlay didn't play. So I like the form from, I guess, John Rahm. But that's why I'm taking Cantlay first round, because I think he could come out real hot. But to put it together for 4 rounds, I don't know if Cantlay can do it with some of these big horses we got in this field. So that's why I don't have him on the outright.
Get it first round.
Yeah, let's go. I hope the first round can come in for us, guys. So far, let's go over the picks quickly. I'll go over mine. I got Rahm at 7 to 1, and we got both of Connor and I. We got Cam Young. We didn't know this before the show. We both are on agreement. Cam Young 22 to 1. Just added Patrick Cantlay 16 to 1 outright. And the last golfer, it's a 3-pack this week, guys. 3 horses outright. I'm going with another guy you could say who's just married here. That's going to be Colin Morikawa. I don't usually take Colin Morikawa, but I think this could be the year for Morikawa. One thing I did look up, he grew up in Glendale, which is a lot of elevation there, 522 feet, and that's about the same not tipping point, but so the highest point at this golf course is like 580. So he's definitely used to this. He's had a T5, T7, and a T7 at this event. His shots gained on his approach at this event has been extraordinary. Plus 1.21, plus 0.96, plus 0.99. He's going to be able to control, I think, out of everybody maybe a little bit more. This is where I like him maybe a little more than Cam Young, in the sense that his approach is going to be dialed. The fairways are so big too. You don't got to worry about him off the tee. It's going to be his approach, his ball striking. His number's been dropping too. I finally found a 22-1 on Colin Morikawa, but shop around, you'll see 18, 20-1s. I have him first round leader as well. Colin Morikawa, 22-1, top 5 plus 300, top 10 plus 115, coming off a 6th place too, Connor, at the Hero. I think Morikawa didn't exactly have the strongest year last year. I think this is going to be a guy. He's going to have some W's in this 2023 season. Where he didn't have a single win last year. I'm going to be betting Colin Morikawa going forward, and I think this event with the elevation, he's been real close to, and an extraordinary. Actually, I wouldn't say excellent. I'd say extraordinary ball striker who seems to like this style of golf course. So 22-1, guys. I got Colin first round as well, top 5 and top 10. What do you think of our guy Morikawa?
I like him. I like him a little bit more than you do, and I like this number a little bit. I was looking at this a little bit this morning. Just almost 20-1. I just think it's too much value how well he's played here. You mentioned last couple of years. Not the longest guy. Just his game is just so head down, and then when he can get going, because that's another guy, great putter, great around the greens, especially when he's rolling. So I like the bet. That's one I could add. I could have maybe 4 outrights here, so that could be an ad for me. I'm still thinking about that one with Morikawa, but I like it.
Yeah, he seems to really like this Hawaii swing. 2021 T7 at the Sentry and the Hawaii, T5 2022. Yeah, I think this is where I want to bet Colin Morikawa over here. I have a lot of West Coast golfers here, and I guess Cantley and Morikawa. But I'm pretty high on Morikawa here. Grew up in the elevation, and then just a strong ball striking. And you don't even got to be that far off the tee here, Connor, because with the the drops and whatnot, and the slopey, like these fairways too, guys. You're going to have uneven tee shots, right? You're going to be on some weird angles. You got to play back foot, front foot, whatnot. So I like Colin a lot here. Number 3 on the card here, guys. Some other golfers that, if you have any golfers in the chat, please, by all means, throw them in the chat here, guys. We'll keep rocking and rolling for a few more minutes. Some golfers I said Tom Kim, 8 of the last 12 now. He's been in the top 20 non-majors. He's missed some in the majors, but if it's a non-major, guys, 8 of 12, top 20. 4 events in 2023. He's had a win, a top 10, a T11, and a T25. Tom Kim's taken over the South Korean scene, but again, Sung Jae-im's another golfer who has played really well here. T8, T5 last 2 years. One more here for you guys. Seamus Power, T5 at Kapalua last year, 8 T to green last 2 events. Yeah, Seamus, T5 RSM, T3 at the Worldwide Tech, and then first at the Bermuda. So, and he's gained strokes 5 of his last 5 putting events. So I'm quite high on our guy Power here, but I wanted to take him in a head-to-head event. It was against Brian Harman. What do you think of Brian Harman? Because he actually hasn't played it in a while, but T3 2018, T17 2015. I
don't mind Harman. And, maybe look, if you think that's enough value for him in a top 10, he's, near 3-1. But that's my last one. This is my guy, Seamus Power, over 40-1. Maybe if he doesn't top 5, you can get basically 8-1. I don't go crazy on top 5s, but I do run one every once in a while. That number intrigued me a little bit with him. So he's my last guy.
What about a top 10? Yeah. What about a top 10?
Yeah, top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going with a little more. I can almost get 8-1 with his top 5. His top 10, I'm getting around plus 275. But yeah, I think that's if you're good with that number, I think he'll be right there this week. I like it a lot.
That's another golfer, guys, that's only been starting to play better. Seamus Power really coming around. Yeah, that's I would say that's all I got here, guys. Let's see if I got any more stats for you guys.
I got a couple here real quick. Here, let me hit you right before let me finish it. I want to just touch on my guys here at the end. You know, I don't think of this guy as this is probably his course, you know, or that's the thing, but top 10, you can get plus 650. Our guy Adam Svensson right here. He played well towards the end of the year. But I'm top 10. I'm just looking for value here. He's a guy I'm looking at. Poston as well. He's plus 600. He was a guy maybe looking at a top 10. And bottom, we like this guy on the West Coast swing better. And I will probably be using him hopefully this year. Waste Management in California. Luke List, you know, kind of a long flyer, bomb it. You know, he's 10-1 for a top 10. Looking for a little value on a bomb. So that's about as big as bomb as I'm getting here, 10-1. So I'm looking at a List as a top 10. Those 3 guys.
You know what? I'm just going to piggyback on the old Adam Svensson here. This course here with the elevation and it really kind of looks like not a BC, but this guy grew up in British Columbia, Surrey, I believe it is. So he's used to the mountains. He's used to that kind of elevation. The distance, I don't think it's a problem. He's a really good ball striker with his irons. It's just going to come down to his putter at this course, but I don't mind Svensson at all. If you can get him in a matchup bet, I wouldn't talk anyone off that. Speaking of matchup bets, Connor, I got one here for you before we go, and I think you're going to like this one. It's going to be our guy Cameron Young minus 110 over Matthew Fitzpatrick. Matthew Fitzpatrick here, guys. He's I know he was just actually in I think it was Brentford or one of his Premier League teams. He was at an event there, getting all tipsy there, having a good time with the boys, showing off the trophy. That was last week. Now he's coming over to Kapalua, where he actually hasn't been too strong. And one thing that's going against him, too, is his 75% greens and regulation average from the fairway, which most guys are going to be on the fairway. I don't think he's got the form right now. I'll bring him up really quicker to see the last time he's played, but I don't believe Matt. I think he's really just soaking up that U.S. Open. Yeah, he had a T13 at the World and a T13 at the South Carolina CJ Cup. I don't think this is – I'll take Cameron Young's distance and over Matthew Fitzpatrick here, guys. So minus 110. That's going to be a matchup bet for you. Tom Kim as well. I got him top 10 plus 150. I think the guy's got enough birdies in him to be there. Adding Cantlay 16-1. And our 3 horses are Rahm, Morikawa, and Young 7-1, 22-1, and 22-1. Check us out, guys. Connor, you got anything else before we close it up?
No. Shout out to the few people joining us here. Get back in it. Golf is back. Dana Delp, what's up? I mean, here's my 3, and I'm thinking adding Morikawa. You talked about Young, Homa, Power over 40-1. And yeah, I might add Morikawa and make it 4. And top 10, I'll put it on Twitter as well, as you will. I'm looking at Poston, List, Svensson. Maybe I'll have something else. Another little wild card in this one. And maybe I'll go with Power top 5. I'll have something else, you know, when I sit with this a little bit more in the next day or 2. But I'll be posting it as well. Thanks, man.
I like your Power one as well. And before we go, fade guy, I have a fade here. Is going to be Scott Stallings. Scott Stallings is not used to being at this event. I know. Listen, I got a point here for. I know he's a nice, you know, good northern New York boy. But Stallings, after the break, guys, since he's came back from the break in his last 5 years, he's missed 4 cuts, and it hasn't been at this event. He's not used to being at this event. He's not the strongest coming off the break. And the one time he has made a cut, he was T55. I think that was the Sony Open. So it's going to be a tough event. He's going to make the cut because it's a no-cut event. But if you could find a matchup bet with Scott, if you could see Svensson over Stallings, I'd take that. That would be one I would like to take right there, especially the form from Svensson. So
yeah, you know what too with Stallings, it's a good fade. You mentioned the numbers early. He usually plays better, and he's a streaky guy. You know, he caught fire a little bit, and I rode him a couple times last year. Yeah, in his game, and golfers get like that. But yeah, he's not a guy that I'm looking at this week. I'd be shocked, you know. But hey, anything can happen. Week 1, man.
That's why we play the game, baby. Alrighty, guys, that's going to cap off the first episode here of PGA Pub Sentry Tournament of Champions. Thank you so much for Big Show for doing all the ones and twos behind the scene. Conor Mac, as always, for being the guest on our show here. Conor will tweet all of his action as he usually does. Dana, Danny, Billy, everyone in the chat, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys also, any guest, anyone who wants to jump on our PGA Pub Conor, I think we'd be open to have any guests that like to talk golf, want to give out some picks as well. So hit us up there, guys, on Twitter. That's where you can see my picks. And till then, guys, we'll be back next Monday for the Sony Open, giving you guys the breakdown for the full card of the Sony Open Championship. Be good, guys. Leche. Elos, bookmakers.